The story begins with a 19-year-old boy named Malik, who has been sentenced to 6 years in prison and is transferred to a notorious prison in France. The prison is surrounded by towering, freezing walls, and Malik knows absolutely no one there. He can barely read or write, and the scars on his face reveal that he has already endured a difficult life. As soon as Malik arrives, the guards search him thoroughly, force him to remove his clothes, and take away the little money he has hidden. By the time the search is over, he has almost nothing left except a brand new pair of shoes. When Malik enters the prison courtyard, he immediately realizes that this place operates by completely different rules from the outside world. Two powerful groups control the prison. The first is a Corsican gang that is small in number, but has enormous influence over the guards and prison officials. The second is a much larger group of Muslim prisoners. Although they greatly outnumber the Corsicans, they have very little real power because the Corsicans control the prison from behind the scenes. Malik is a complete stranger to both groups. Because he has no one to protect him, several prisoners attack him on his first day and steal his new shoes. Malik tries to fight back, but being alone and inexperienced, he is brutally beaten. For the next few days, Malik silently endures hunger, violence, and humiliation. At night, he lies alone in his cell and wonders whether he will ever escape this nightmare alive. The real power inside the prison belongs to a man known as the Cat. He is an old but extremely dangerous Corsican leader who controls almost everything inside the prison. Even the guards are afraid to challenge him because everyone knows that he effectively runs the prison from the shadows. Around this time, a new Muslim prisoner named Imran arrives. Imran is an important witness in a major case outside the prison, and he is scheduled to testify against a member of the Corsican gang. The Corsicans cannot allow that to happen. They want Imran dead before he can reach the courtroom. However, Imran stays in the Muslim section of the prison, where the Corsicans cannot easily reach him. The Cat then notices Malik, a young and seemingly helpless prisoner who has no allies. He calls Malik over and gives him a terrifying choice. Malik must either kill Imran or face death himself. Malik is horrified because he has never killed anyone before. Desperate to escape the situation, he attempts to secretly alert a senior prison officer, but the Corsicans discover what he is trying to do. They put a plastic bag over Malik's head and suffocate him until he is terrified into submission. They make it clear that they are the ones who control the prison. Still desperate to avoid killing Imran, Malik comes up with another plan. He deliberately participates in an attack on another prisoner, hoping the guards will punish him by placing him in solitary confinement, but the plan fails. The Cat discovers what Malik has done and beats him severely. Now Malik realizes that he has no other choice if he wants to survive. The Corsicans give him detailed instructions. He must hide a small blade inside his mouth, approach Imran as a friend, gain his trust, and attack him when the right opportunity appears. Alone in his cell, Malik repeatedly practices keeping the blade hidden between his cheek and teeth. Each attempt causes painful cuts to his tongue and the inside of his mouth. His mouth repeatedly fills with blood, but he continues practicing because he knows his life depends on it. For Malik, the entire situation feels like a horrifying nightmare. Eventually, the day of the murder arrives. Malik is sent to Imran's cell. Imran immediately assumes that Malik genuinely wants to be his friend. Instead of treating him badly, Imran speaks to him kindly. When he discovers that Malik can barely read or write, Imran promises to give him books and help him learn. He even encourages Malik to become smarter and make better choices in life. But Malik is hiding a terrible secret. He has been sent there to kill him. When the right moment arrives, Malik secretly pulls out the blade he has been hiding and attacks Imran. The struggle becomes violent, and Malik is badly injured in the process. Despite his fear and hesitation, he completes the task. Imran dies on the prison floor, leaving Malik shaken by what he has just done. Malik carefully places the blade in Imran's hand to make the death appear different from what actually happened. He then goes to the bathroom and washes the blood from his clothes, while carefully avoiding the blood scattered across the floor. From that moment onward, Malik's life changes completely. By killing Imran, he has proven himself to the Corsican gang. The Cat sends him several packs of cigarettes and makes it clear that Malik is now under his protection. For the first time since entering the prison, Malik realizes that he has gained a powerful shield. But becoming part of the Corsican world comes with a price, and Malik's dangerous journey inside the prison has only just begun. The Corsicans never truly respected him. They treated him like a servant, constantly mocked him, and considered him nothing more than a useful fool. Meanwhile, the Muslim prisoners began viewing Malik as a traitor who had chosen the Corsicans over his own people. Malik was trapped between both sides. He belonged nowhere and had almost no one he could trust. But something even stranger began happening. The man Malik had killed started appearing in his mind like a ghost. Late at night, while sitting alone in his cell, Malik would sometimes see visions of Imran, whose injuries were still clearly visible. Although these visions terrified him, they also seemed to guide Malik Malik and make him think more carefully about his next moves. Gradually, Malik learned to turn his fear into motivation. This was the moment when the intelligent and ambitious side of him began to emerge. Imran's final words had left a lasting impression on him. Malik decided that he would no longer spend his life as someone else's servant. He wanted to become independent and build a future for himself. His first step was education. Malik began learning how to read and write. During this period, he met another Muslim prisoner named Rihan. Rihan was educated, intelligent, and willing to help him. He patiently taught Malik how to recognize letters, form words, and understand written language. Over time, the two became close friends. Malik also started attending classes inside the prison. He began learning anything that could help him survive and succeed after his release. The young man who once could not even write his own name was now reading books and trying to understand the world around him. Rihan became more than just his teacher. He became Malik's only genuine friend in the prison. The two would spend hours talking, and for the first time, Malik felt that someone inside the prison truly treated him like a human being. However, Malik was also learning something far more valuable. He secretly began studying the Corsican language. He made sure that nobody discovered what he was doing. The cat and his men would often discuss their plans openly in front of Malik, assuming that he was too ignorant to understand them. They had no idea that Malik was quietly learning every word. He listened carefully whenever they discussed their operations. Little by little, he began understanding their plans, contacts, and secrets. Malik realized that knowledge was one of the strongest weapons he could possess. If he wanted to survive in this dangerous environment, he needed to understand his enemies better than they understood him. His strategy became simple: learn their weaknesses, remember their secrets, and never reveal how much he actually knew. Then, one day, a major change took place inside the prison. The government ordered that many Corsican prisoners be transferred to prisons closer to their home region. One after another, several of the cat's oldest and most trusted men were transferred. The powerful gang leader suddenly found himself surrounded by fewer loyal followers. His influence began to weaken. With fewer people available to carry out his orders, the cat was forced to rely more heavily on Malik. The young prisoner gradually became the old man's eyes and ears inside the prison. Malik reported what was happening around him, watched other prisoners, and handled various tasks for the cat. As Malik's behavior improved, the prison authorities began granting him short periods of temporary leave. These brief outings gave him an opportunity to experience life outside the prison. However, the cat always had another task waiting for him. The old gangster used Malik to continue managing parts of his criminal operation from outside the prison, but Malik had his own plans. He completed the cat's assignments quickly and used the remaining time to quietly build something for himself. Every time he returned to prison, his personal business had grown a little larger. He was also carrying more money than before. Malik was now playing a dangerous double game. Inside prison, he acted like a loyal servant of the cat. Outside, he secretly worked toward becoming independent. One mistake could expose everything and cost him his life. But Malik was no longer the frightened teenager who had entered the prison years earlier. He was willing to take the risk. Outside prison, he receives help from an experienced criminal named Sam, who is known by the nickname the Gypsy. Sam has years of experience in the drug trade. Malik joins forces with him and begins building his own operation. His trusted friend Rihan also becomes involved. For the first time, the three men begin creating a business of their own, but their new world is filled with danger. Every deal brings new enemies, and every mistake could have deadly consequences. Soon, Rihan develops a serious illness. Because of his condition, he receives an early release from prison. This gives Malik an important advantage. For the first time, he has a trusted partner outside who can help manage his growing operation. Together, Malik, Rihan, and Sam strengthen their position in the drug business. But success quickly attracts attention. One day, Rihan is captured by another criminal named Latif. When Malik receives the news, he is devastated. He realizes that the dangerous world he has entered is beginning to threaten everyone close to him. Instead of panicking, Malik immediately relies on his intelligence and looks for a way to turn the situation in his favor. He discovers that one of Latif's relatives is being held in the same prison. Malik then arranges for several members of that man's family to be kidnapped and sends Latif a clear warning. He tells Latif that if anything happens to Rihan, nobody from his family will be safe. Faced with this threat, Latif has no choice but to back down and release Rihan unharmed. This incident proves that Malik is no longer the frightened young prisoner who first entered the jail. However, Malik's growing influence does not remain a secret from the cat for long. One day, the old gang leader discovers that Malik has been using his temporary leaves to complete the cat's assignments while secretly building his own business. The cat feels betrayed and becomes furious. To remind Malik, who is still in control, he gives him a brutal punishment. He presses a spoon against Malik's eye with tremendous force, leaving his vision severely impaired for a long time. The message is clear. The cat still considers himself Malik's master. Malik silently endures the pain and says nothing. But deep inside, his hatred for the old gang leader grows stronger. Soon, another major opportunity changes Malik's life. The cat is involved in an important deal with an Italian criminal group known as the Lingaris. To complete the agreement, he decides to send Malik to Italy to meet a man named Latridge. Since Latridge is also of Arab origin, the cat believes Malik is the right person to handle the meeting. Interestingly, the journey is also the first time the cat has ever traveled traveled by plane. He behaves almost like a child, fascinated by the clouds outside the window and excited by the food served during the flight. But the moment they arrive in Marseille, the situation becomes extremely dangerous. Latij has a deep hatred for the Corsicans, partly because of the events surrounding Imran's death. As soon as he learns that the cat has sent Malik, he points a gun at him. Malik suddenly finds himself facing death. Just when everything seems hopeless, Malik remembers a strange dream he had the previous night. In the dream, he had seen a large group of deer running across a road. He calmly tells the driver to slow down because a deer is about to cross their path. Everyone assumes he is simply making something up to save himself. But moments later, a deer suddenly runs onto the road and the vehicle crashes into it. Everyone is stunned. Latij cannot understand how Malik could have predicted what was about to happen. He begins to believe that Malik possesses some kind of extraordinary ability. Malik then tells Latij the truth. He admits that he was the one who killed Imran. Despite this revelation, Latij is impressed by Malik's courage and unusual instincts. Instead of continuing to work with the old cat, Latij decides that he would rather conduct business directly with Malik. For Malik, this is a major breakthrough. He is no longer simply an errand boy working for the Corsicans. He is beginning to establish his own reputation outside the prison. Rumors about his strange ability and remarkable instincts spread quickly. Back inside the prison, Malik's reputation also begins to change. The Muslim prisoners who once considered him a traitor now start respecting him. Some even become willing to follow his lead. At the same time, the Corsican gang continues losing influence. The cat's power is slowly fading, while Malik's influence grows stronger with every passing day. The same young man who once had his shoes stolen and was beaten by other prisoners is now becoming a powerful figure inside the prison. Meanwhile, the cat becomes increasingly paranoid. He begins to suspect that someone inside his own organization is secretly leaking information. Eventually, he discovers that his right-hand man, Jackie, who manages many of his operations outside prison, has secretly made an alliance with the Italians. The revelation sends the cat into a rage. He decides to use Malik to eliminate Jackie. The cat gives Malik a dangerous assignment and orders him to leave the prison and kill his former associate. But the cat has another motive. He believes Malik will either fail to kill Jackie or be killed during the attempt. Either outcome would benefit him. Malik, however, is no longer an inexperienced prisoner. He immediately begins planning with Rian. Instead of confronting Jackie directly, Malik first takes out his guards and captures Jackie alive. He then holds him at gunpoint and reveals the truth. Malik tells Jackie that the order to kill him came directly from the cat. Rather than killing Jackie, Malik releases him in the middle of the city. He knows exactly what will happen next. Jackie will realize that the cat has turned against him, while the cat will believe Jackie has betrayed him. Malik understands that this will ignite a violent conflict between the two powerful Corsican figures, and while they destroy each other, Malik's own path to power will become much clearer. Malik's dark strategy worked exactly as he had expected. That single lie created distrust within the Corsican gang and eventually sparked a violent internal conflict. The group that had once controlled the entire prison without fear was now fighting among itself. The cat, who had once been the most powerful man in the prison, suddenly found himself surrounded by enemies on every side. One by one, his own men were either killed or abandoned him. The once feared gang leader was eventually reduced to a lonely and helpless old man whom nobody respected anymore. His entire empire collapsed because of the same arrogance and cruelty that had once allowed him to dominate the prison. As the conflict reached its peak, the prison descended into complete chaos. Different groups fought to protect their territory and maintain whatever power they had left. Amid all the violence, Malik remained calm. He understood that when powerful enemies destroy each other, the person who stays out of the fight can gain the most. Once the chaos finally settled, the entire balance of power inside the prison had changed. The cat's position was gone, and the seat of power he had once occupied was left empty. Malik quietly stepped into that position. He had not taken control through brute force. Instead, he had used patience, intelligence, and careful planning to reach the top. But while Malik's power was growing, his closest friend Rian's condition was getting worse. His serious illness had returned, and his health continued to deteriorate. Rian eventually made the heartbreaking decision to stop pursuing further treatment. Doctors gave him only a limited amount of time. Before his death, Rian asked Malik to make one final promise. He wanted Malik to take care of his wife and young son after he was gone. Malik gave his friend his word. Despite everything Malik had experienced, this promise showed that the compassionate person inside him had never completely disappeared. Eventually, the day of Malik's release arrived. His 6-year sentence was finally over, and the prison authorities completed the paperwork for his discharge. For a moment, Malik remembered the day he first entered the prison. 6 years earlier, he had arrived frightened, alone, and almost completely helpless. Now the man walking out of those gates was completely different. The prison had changed him. When Malik stepped outside, he saw Rian's wife and young son waiting for him. He greeted them warmly, and the three of them began walking away together. But the story does not end there. As they moved forward, a long convoy of vehicles slowly followed behind them. Every vehicle belonged to Malik's associates. The frightened teenager who had once entered prison with nothing had disappeared. In his place stood a confident and powerful man who had built his own position in the criminal world.